Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed. And I've just made a video just now about Del Boy's 39 years anniversary of CB radio, legal CB of course in the UK, and I've just said that I'm going to be on it. So, so I thought I better just make sure that my equipment's working because I haven't tested it. So I like to try and use equipment that was available back in the day. And the radio of choice for this sort of thing is my old Murphy 1500 base station radio. Yeah, it's a radio that came out here in the UK. I'm not sure the exact years that it came out. I suspect it was about 82, 83, something like that. They made a lot of these, quite a lot of these. The serial number on this one is about 7,500. So made in Taiwan. Not a great radio, to be honest. At the time they got criticised quite heavily. There's a couple of issues on this radio which can make it a little bit hard to live with. The first thing is that it's got a built-in power transformer, which is good because you can just plug it into the mains, but it's kind of about here inside the radio, and unfortunately when you've got the volume down quite quiet, or like now you haven't got the volume on at all, it makes a humming noise. So I call this sort of humming hurry. I'll take my lapel mic off and see if you can hear it. Kind of comes from the front speaker, I think, to be honest. If I turn the power off. So yeah, you got that humming noise, which it's a little bit annoying. Some people say that it does come over with the transmit. I've never had that on a radio report myself, but I wouldn't be surprised. And another thing is the squelch. It's not a very smooth squelch. It tends to pop in and pop out. And again, I can show you that with the volume down, because it does it. Listen. And when you're talking on a conversation, every time that someone breaks the squelch, you get that pop in, pop out. And yeah, that is a little bit annoying. Gary 104 Outdoors has recently done some work on his Murphy 1500 and put in, I think it was a resistor on the speaker, just to sort of try and smooth that out. Yeah, I wasn't totally convinced that was the complete solution. I mean, as I don't use the radio very often, it doesn't really bother me. I think it's part of the charm of the radio. And I bought this one purely for nostalgic reasons. When I came back on CB radio, I'd kind of always wanted one back in the day. It's just the way it looks, in my opinion. It reminds me so much of the American sort of early CB radios, perhaps some of the 23 channel sets, the AM radios, something that we saw in Convoy, films like that. It just looks like a traditional CB radio, and I just like the way it works and the way it handles. I mean, it's very basic, volume, squelch. You do have an RF gain, and that's quite useful because my meter needs a little bit of adjustment. My power meter has become a little bit over enthusiastic over the years, so I probably need to back that off a little bit to give people anything like a true reading. As a quite an exotic thing, a delta tune. How much that really works on FM, I don't know, but that was having a delta tune on a radio in the UK was something quite special back in the day. And for me, I just like the way that it handles. If you listen to this, it's just got such a traditional, really nice, strong, clicky channel select. And I can just get hours of pleasure. It just reminds me back in the day turning that. And it's so precise, and that's one thing, unfortunately, with SDR driven radios such as the 6900 and even the Truman, to be honest, because this is no longer a mechanical device as such, you can just sort of rock the channel select and the channel select will change, whereas this being an old-fashioned mechanical analog device, very, very solid, something that I think's lost in modern CB. So yeah, I'm just going to get it out today anyway and have a quick look at it. It's pretty original. I bought this off eBay, oh god, 2015, something like that maybe. And I wasn't really looking for a pristine example. This, I think, cost me about £35. It's quite heavy, so I think it was about £8 or £9 delivery. And it looks in good condition at a distance, but it's not pristine. The bezel round here at some point had been sort of broken, and a guy has put some black tape around it. I've just left it on there. I say it's not a pristine example, but overall I think everything seems to work. I think the controls are a little bit scratchy now. Yeah, very needs a little bit of contact spray there in the volume pot. It's very loud as well. You've got quite a nice size speaker there, full front mounting speaker. Again, that's something modern radios quite often got, a very small little tinny speaker, but you've got quite a nice sound from this. Yeah, it does need a little bit of contact spray on that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. It comes with a Charman microphone. That's not the original one. That's what came with it. I think the wiring on these is a little bit strange, if I remember rightly, because I was going to put a power mic on it. Never really bothered. Right, this is the setup we're going to be using for the test. We're using this Zetagi, the TM999. It's not the most accurate meter in the world. This isn't bench test equipment, so it's just kind of a rough guideline. And we're going to be keying up and using into Gary's dummy load. For those of you new to CB radio, don't go keying up your radio unless you've got it connected to an antenna or a 50 ohm dummy load, because you will damage it. It will heat up if you try and transmit without an antenna, and you'll end up damaging the transmit finals in your radio. So anyway, here we go. We're going to go on channel 20. This radio probably is a little bit out of tune, so I'm not going to muck about with it. We'll go channel 20, obviously FM there, and I'm going to zoom in on the meter and let's see what we get. Here we go then. We're on the 10 watt scale, so that's 0 to 10. You can sort of see the 5. It should be 4 watts, but I don't suppose it's doing that anymore. And there you go. Okay, well that's about what, 3.5. It's hard to see because the camera's in the way, but yeah, about 3.5 watts. So the meter, you know, the meter's not going to be the most accurate. You can sort of give or take 5%, something like that. But yeah, 3.5 watts. So the radio probably needs a bit of a tune. It probably needs a little bit of alignment. They are quite tunable. If you do go inside the radio, there's certainly different pots you can adjust. Personally, I'm not going to worry too much. As I say, it's a novelty radio for me. All right then, let's be a little bit naughty then, and let's be a hypocrite, and we'll power up the linear amplifier, the Zetagi B150, and then see what we get running the amplifier. I'm going to predict it's probably going to be probably about 35-40 watts, something like that, which is ideal really for what I need to get out on that little group there. So let's do that on the next test. And now the same test, but this time in between the radio and the power meter, we've got the Zetagi 150 amplifier. Right, let me just zoom in to the meter there and we'll see what we're going to get out of it this time. So once again, we're on the bottom scale. This time we're on the 100 watt scale, so this represents 10, 50 and obviously 100 at the end there. So let's key up, and there you go. So looking at the camera here, okay, that's just a fraction under 40 watts, say 37, 38 watts, something like that. And you know what, that's pretty much ideal. That's my sweet spot for getting out and getting heard on the 305 group normally. I'm just going to change the CB radio up to channel 39, as that's what I'll be using, won't I? So let's go up to 39. Let's just try to test again. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So it shows that the radio's out of tune. So yeah, channel 39, just under the 50 watts. So the output of the radio must have been closer to 4 watts. Okay, well that's quite handy. So yeah, about 48 watts, something like that. That's quite interesting. And it's pulling, looking at the power supply there, it's pulling about 7 to 8 amps. Just try that again. Okay, just under 7 amps there. And that's it. Right, okay, so it all works. I think finally what I'm going to do, I know I'm using a dummy load, but I will just try and get an audio test report just to make sure that the microphone is putting out audio, that these wires haven't become detached inside, or even the plug, because I haven't used this for quite some time. So I'll just shoot the camera up on the Yaesu 450 in the shack, and we'll just do a little transmit into the dummy load and see what sort of makes sure we get some kind of audio. Otherwise I'll be sitting there all night calling out, no one's going to hear me. That'd be it, that'd be the final part of the video. Thanks for sticking with it. So firstly we'll do without the linear switched on, so we switch the linear off. Yeah, audio check on the Smurfy base station 1500, running straight out of the back at about 4 watts there. 1 2 1 2 audio 1 2 audio. Audio check on the Smurfy base station 1500, running straight out of the back at about 4 watts there. 1 2 1 2 audio 1 2 audio. Right, then we're going to switch on the Zetagi. Again, running into that dummy load, I've got no idea how this is going to sound. It isn't going to sound as good as running into a CB antenna. Audio check 2, running the Zetagi B150 amplifier, putting out about 45 watts or thereabouts out the back. So audio check, channel 39 FM, audio check 1 2 1 2 audio check. Wouldn't it be funny if someone came back to me on the dummy load? I'd jump out of my skin. Audio check 2, running the Zetagi B150 amplifier, putting out about 45 watts or thereabouts out the back. So audio check, channel 39 FM, audio check 1 2 1 2 audio check. It works, I've checked it on the little phone there, and audio sounds pretty good. Even when you switch on the amplifier, if anything, it sort of beefs up the signal a little bit. I imagine running into the dummy load, it needs that. But yeah, audio sounds pretty good on the phone there. So that's the setup. That'll be the setup for Tuesday night. Hopefully nothing will go wrong this year, and there'll be no disasters in the family or whatever, and I'll be able to get on there. And Tuesday night we'll set this up in the little shed. The shed's in a little bit of a transitional period at the moment, so I have to make a little bit of space, and that'd be great. And it'd be really great to be on the net and hopefully get some contacts, get some local contacts, and I hope we get some new people. What is really, really great is when we get new people come onto the net, and I think on the 37-year one we got Paul, 4-watt Paul, came on, and it was his first contact was us lot on the 37-year CB net. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sticking with the video. As always, it's getting very, very dodgy out there again with the current pandemic situation. Please, please, please stay safe, look after yourself. There's the old thumb from me. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that thumb button. I really would appreciate it. Always nice to see a few thumbs up. It does encourage me to make more videos. But as for now, as always, from Fred in the Shed, cheers, stay safe, and of course, I'll catch you all on the next one. See you later, guys.